How's everybody doing today? My name is Steven Rosenberg, this is Gene Ginzburg, and welcome to Marketing Success in Under 10 Minutes. We have a phenomenal show for you guys today. Gene, how are you doing so far?
I am really excited to be here, as always. Love doing the show. So what are we talking about today, Steven?
So today we're going to talk about in-person marketing or brand ambassadors, something where you actually get to touch and talk to your potential customers. This is something that I think has obviously gone on for a very, very long time, but I think is kind of redefined and changing as influencers become more and more important on social media. So what I wanted to talk about is how effective those really can be, because by hiring a company to have brand ambassadors for you and actually get that face-to-face marketing with people, I think can add a lot of value, especially if your call to action goals are very clear cut. And so if you ever go to a trade show or anything like that, and you have the right people in place with the right message, I think not only can you get them to interact with you and your product, but then having that call to action to have them then go onto social media and do something can be very, very powerful. And so if you have a group of people saying, oh, you get entered into a contest, but you have to first go on and use XYZ hashtag or tag us in this product first, I think there's going to be a lot more people that are incentivized to do that than if you just had a campaign online that said if you do the same thing, you'll get entered into this contest. Do you see the value in doing things like that, Gene?
Absolutely. I think, well, first of all, I think brand ambassadorship, it's been around for a long time. We've seen the Miller girls and the Coors girls, and I guess guys too as well. So that's definitely been around, and I think having those really fun events and brand ambassadors there is really exciting. And you get to talk to also your potential customers. In terms of the social media, I also agree there. I think the kind of where the social media is going now, and it has been going there. It's not anything really too new, but definitely engaging with your prospects, with your customers online. So tagging. So if you want to get entered to a contest, tag the brand as you're creating, as let's say you're entering the contest. So for sure, I think brands want to engage, have a two-way, a dialogue with their consumers, with their prospects, versus just versus just as it always has been before, where it's just always been a one-way street, pushing the message onto the consumer versus waiting for actually asking for the consumer to respond as well.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think, from a practical standpoint, maybe another way to think about this, or something that I'm really thinking a lot about lately, is trying to get influencers to be a part of that. So what I mean, to break this down a little bit more, is you could, hire some super famous actor or actress to be a brand ambassador for you, and it's going to cost a ton of money, let alone if you want them to show up at an event and be, sort of that brand ambassador in person. Whereas if you were to find a local or micro authentic influencer that is really, they've got, we'll say 50,000 followers, and they're really passionate about your brand, you could probably get them to come to a trade show and be that sort of, influencer promoting your brand, and you would have a 10 times bigger turnout at your tent, because if this influencer is, we'll say, quote unquote, famous to people in your circle, that's going to be a really big deal. The other practical side of this is that you could probably get them to do that for very cheap, or a lot less than if you were to pay somebody famous, or spend your budget elsewhere. I just think that would be very impactful. And then to get them to continue that conversation online is something that I don't think a ton of people are doing, but it would be so effective in a marketing plan, especially if that influencer that you've friended online is actually in your hometown or wherever that trade show is going to be. and you invite them out. Even if you don't know them yet, it's a great way to get an influencer on board with your brand also. If I'm going to a new city, we'll say California, in San Francisco, I'm going to look on Instagram and see what the most popular hashtags for whatever industry I'm going to San Francisco for the trade show for. And I think that would just, be well worth your money and the time spent, because you could get people to come and be supportive of your product for, slim to nothing. That's what I kind of think, and I think it's a very practical approach that a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have a ton of cash to spend could try, and it would work out really well.
I absolutely agree with you. I think those are amazing points, really important to think about this. And if you are a up-and-coming entrepreneur or an entrepreneur who just got started, I think you should really listen to Steven, because these are really amazing points. Like, everybody always complains about, I don't have money, I don't have the budget, I don't have the funding for it. Well, think outside the box, just be resourceful, but not necessarily with money. So this is, I think, a great example of how you can be resourceful without spending a ton of money on a famous person to be your spokesperson or be at a trade show with you. I think those are excellent points, and if the audiences are not using those points, then I think we're not doing our job very well.
Right. Yeah.
So I think these are great. Absolutely, you should. Anybody who's listening to this should be using that.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's a practical way that if you are an entrepreneur, whether you're starting up and have no cash, or have an entrepreneur to spend some money, you could hire not just brand ambassadors, but also an influencer in that local market, because we're seeing more and more statistically that influencers online, whether they're YouTubers or have a much bigger reach than even the most famous actors and actresses. I mean, I think it's really crazy if you actually dig into the numbers. There's way more people online watching a YouTube show than there are watching a show on, NBC or CBS or CNN. It's really, really crazy how much that's grown. And so I just think it's something that you should definitely try out as an entrepreneur.
I cannot agree more with that. I think those are really great points, and people should be our audiences should be trying them out. If you're watching this video, definitely try them out.
And let us know in the comments below. We really appreciate your guys' feedback. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and share. Gene, you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Steven.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you'll continue to get involved and join us as we help you find success in your entrepreneurial journey. Please follow, like, and share with others who will find this beneficial. We'll see you on the next episode of Marketing Success in Under 10 Minutes with Steven and Gene.